All right, Lou, thank you for joining me. We swapped emails through this year since I last saw you, which we'll get into in a little bit. Thanks for giving me some time tonight, mate. It's good to have a chat with you, and good to see you on a video show as well.
It's good to see you, John. Nice, thanks for having me.
It's things have changed a bit. I mean, I saw you in Liverpool in January at Jimmy's in Liverpool. Great gig, by the way. And to start off with, again, and we talked about this before we started recording, but again, regular listeners know I only record with people, whose music or films or whatever I really enjoy. So already, listeners, I really love this band, and especially your new EP that we're going to get into as well. I've been playing it loud again today. But here's a really big compliment for you, mate, to begin with. I went to that gig in Jimmy's at the beginning of the year with my daughter, who was 22 just last month, and the gigs that she went to before were the likes of, Little Mix was one that I can remember, and other bands. And you guys come on because you were on first, and then you finished, and she turned to me and she went, I really like them. So you've got a whole new Little Mix audience and whatever that haven't discovered you yet, mate. So you need to get all them in as well.
I think it's with us though. It's because of thank you. I'm glad she enjoyed it, and happy birthday to her. But we consider ourselves a live band. To be honest, we really enjoy performing, and that's one of the things that we thrive from. And and we like to get audience reactions. And obviously now I can't, but at the time I could sort of wander around the audience, get involved, and that's what I like to see. And that's what if I went to a show, I'd expect a sort of similar thing. Someone to interact with me, have a laugh, and that's the main thing. People have paid to go and see a show. We're putting on a show, isn't it? And you want to, not going greatest showman or anything like that, but that's what you want. You want to make it the greatest show in the world. You want to kind of, I want people to leave and be like, as you said, like you want people to leave and be like, wow, that was brilliant. And again, it's boring for me if I just stand there. So.
Well, that was one of the first things that I picked up on as soon as you come on stage, because you were new to me. I hadn't heard any of your songs. I hadn't heard of the band. You were the first band on. And I was like, fuck me, these are really good. You blew me away as a frontman as well, because not only have you got a great voice, which again is always really important to me, and I can understand what you're singing, because me being an old git, I don't, I like to know what people are singing, which is always good. But it was the whole energy of the band, and you in particular as the frontman, with just holding the audience and really quite literally getting in the audience and getting everybody involved. So as well as the audience having a really good time, it's quite obvious you were having a great time too.
Yeah, I do. As I say, I really, really, really like playing live. That's one of the things in lockdown that I miss. But it's one of those things. I like throughout my band, the guys themselves, the guys, the guitarist, bass player, drummer, they all love playing live. And one of the things is, I think they feed off. If I'm getting a good reaction from the audience, they start to react as well in which they're already performing anyway in their own little worlds and stuff. But if they start to interact with the audience as well, if I get the right sort of reaction, so I'm kind of like a tester really to see how the audience are going to react to me in their face. And then obviously once I've broken that barrier, I think they feel a lot more comfortable and kind of join me as well. So yeah, I think we are definitely a live band. Like we love playing live.
And Attic Theory, like a lot of bands as well, were formed from different bands, weren't they? Your journey is like a lot of other new bands as well. Just for the listeners as well, can you just give them just a very quick history of how Attic Theory came to be, what you are today?
Yeah, well, Peter and myself were in another band called Matchstick Men. And we decided it was time to call it a day. We wanted to do something new. All the members, kind of left, and original members, and we were just up to a point where we were like, should we just like jib this off? We had a record deal as well for the Holier Than Now Records, and the way I look at things, no disrespect to any of them or anything like that, but we were like, we just need to start again. We just need, we need to cut ties with it, everything basically, and just start again. So we decided to do that. We got Tim's band was sort of ending as well. So we ended up, getting Tim in, who's one of the guitarists, and then it sort of fell into place from them. Tim then got Kenny in, and then Kenny got Matt in, and then we're now a 6-piece as well. So we've got another person in, but again, we've got Matt Lawler in. But it's one of them. I think we were all just fed up with the previous things that we were doing, and we wanted to try something new. And this seems to be sort of the direction that we all kind of want to go in. It's our own. We've got our own signature now, and it's only made up of the 6 of us. The only reason we sound like we do is because of each and every one of us. I think, and it's a lot of bands can't really say that. A lot of people just have, the sort of main front man writing all the songs, but I'm not that type of person. I prefer. I write all the lyrics, but I'm not. I don't want to completely dictate what everybody does, because you don't get any originality from them. If I just start barking orders at everything they do, it's not going to work, is it? It's kind of, you want originality. You don't want to sound like anyone else. There's already a Guns N' Roses out there. There's already an AC/DC. I don't want to sound like either of them. I want to sound like Attic Theory. So it was to the point where we started something fresh. And I don't think I think with our signature, we don't sound like anyone else. And I always think that's a big thing and quite an arrogant thing to say, but it's also true. So, until people hear the songs, they can't, people, if they haven't, obviously they've heard one of the songs before, but they might not, a lot of the time people think it's quite a big, bold statement to make, but I do believe it's true. And I've never been in a band that I've been able to say that either. So
I love the description of your music on your social media of alternative sexy groove rock. When I saw you before, and I went to your social media and I saw that, I thought, that's just a perfect way of putting it. That drew me in straight away. When you read something like that, you think, I've got to listen to this band.
Yeah, that's the thing. We couldn't pick a genre. We couldn't be like, oh, we sound like this. So we made our own. That was so that's what we did. But yeah, it's more. It works even better now because we were a sextet with 6 of us. The sexy kind of works. We put the sex in sextet. So it kind of. I think it is one of those things where we couldn't define what we sound like. We couldn't pinpoint it. So one of my philosophies is, if it doesn't groove, we don't play it. So that's sort of where the groove rock thing came from. You've got to be able to move to the songs. You've got to be able to dance to the songs. Yeah. Even bob your head away. Even if you're not paying attention, it automatically brings you in. But again, like we said with live stuff, you don't want to you don't want to just stand there doing nothing. You want to be able to have a dance. You've gone there to have a beer. You've gone there to have fun. And I want our songs. And our songs do that. So that's the reason. That's for the groove rock, because we just, if it doesn't groove, we don't play it.
That's a good philosophy to keep as well, that one is.
Yeah.
And it's been the year started great for you. Like I said, it was a cracking gig when I saw you back in January. February, Planet Rock, best new band. Congratulations, belated congratulations to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That one was a bit of a shock to us, to be honest. We've got quite loyal fans, and we asked them to vote for us. We make silly videos as well. One of the things that we do on our Facebook, we try and have a laugh all the time. We don't want to just be really, really serious all the time, because people don't want that. At the moment, especially in lockdown, it's everyone's already, everyone's mental health is affected. Just want a bit of a laugh. Yeah. You don't want to see people moaning all the time. But that's what it is. Yeah. So when that came along, before all the madness happened, it was quite a shock. Like my future wife, Kelly, she came in the room, couldn't speak, and was like holding the phone at me, like going, I was like, what's wrong? She was like, you've won this. I was like, no, what? And it turned out we did, because as I said before, like, our fans are quite good. If we ask them to vote for something, they'll do it. And like, especially with something that was over that amount of time, because that would have a good few weeks to vote. It take a little bit of pushing, but people would end up going, oh, I suppose so, I'll do that now. And it must have paid off. So, well, it did pay off.
Yeah. How did you celebrate?
We don't put. I can't even. I thought I was going to faint, to be honest. We had a few beers and that, but it was one of them. We all went to rehearsals. And where we used to rehearse, there's a bar below it. So we all just kind of like had a beer and just looked at each other like, what the fuck? Like really, really shocked, really like, wow, what the fuck? So yeah, it's good. Like, as I say, there is loads of new bands out there, but, and they may deserve it next year, but unfortunately, we won this year. So we do think it was, something, obviously there's Avengers where Thanos snapped his fingers. Well, I think that Thanos was watching, and we won Planet Rock, and he was like, I've had enough of this. And obviously snapped his fingers and made the world go mad. So I reckon, COVID's our fault. Yeah.
Now we know where it started. That's it now.
Yeah.
Because, of course, it was the next month, wasn't it, after that happening? The very next month, when you guys could have been, out on the road and riding high from all of this. Live gigs were taken away from you. So, I mean, it must have been, as it has been for all bands, just such a frustrating summer for you. And autumn and going into winter.
Yeah, it's been mental, to be honest, because normally especially with the EP, we'd normally tour the record, that's what we've done in previous bands, and things like that. And you'd automatically release something and then tour it. Yeah, it's been a bit weird. It's been a bit of a strange one, to be honest. But at the end of the day, it's all like in all things in life. You've got to adapt to it. I have another sort of philosophy where I always hit the ground running. Something happens, I pick myself up, carry on. Dust off my knees and carry on. It's one of them. It's if you're gonna sort of dwell on the negativity of the world, you're not going to get anywhere. You're not, you're not even going to get out of bed. So it's got to the point where I think that, we've had to adapt to new marketing ways and new means of, communicating to people. And like Zoom is the perfect example. We did like Zoom games and Zoom, like we did a murder mystery night for the fans. I dressed up like a woman because no one else would do it. The guys think it was just secretly I wanted to, but they no one else would do it. So I had to be the sort of, Marilyn Monroe sort of, sort of like 50s, dapper sort of dress and all this. And it was, things like that. We entertained people by doing that. We had a board game night in different ways, and not everything we were doing in lockdown was to do with music, but it's one of those things. It is quite a difficult thing when, the whole reason why you do this is to make music and to play live. But at the end of the day, once your fans are engaged, sometimes they don't want to hear it. They want to just have a laugh with you or, have an actual conversation, which I really, really like. I think that's like actually a part of the, when I was a kid getting into music, I never thought I'd be like, do you know what? I'm going to really enjoy actually talking to people and talking to the fans. I never thought that would be like you just think of this rock star dream. And for me, I enjoy like actually getting to meet people. That's one of the things for me. And that is one of the things that I miss mainly from not touring and, not promoting the release that way, is because I don't get to meet new people.
Yeah.
I'm a social butterfly, as my partner would say. So
well, it is one of the good things about Zoom and everything else, that you could keep in touch with the fans, do shows like this, and help promote with the new EP and everything.
Yeah.
I know when I wrote the review of the gig in January, a couple of the things that I put was there's a new EP in the pipeline, can't wait to hear it, and I'm hoping to have an interview show with you in the future. So we're having this now. I've listened to the EP, like I said, loads of times, and again, 6 tracks. I really love every track on it. And quite seriously, there's none I thought, I'm not so sure about this one. Everyone, right from the off with Marionette, I thought, fuck me, this is so good. Crank it out. It just kept going all the way through it. What was the creation process to put this EP together? Because it's, I said there was talk of it at the beginning of the year, and finally it came out. It was last Friday, was it the 27th as we recorded, it came out?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's it been like putting it all together?
Strange in lockdown, but weirdly easier. Obviously, at first the studio was closed, so we'd started recording it already, and we had to obviously put that on hold. So we'd already had the studio time booked in, so we were basically waiting for to get the green light to go back in. As soon as we got the green light, the Motor Museum, wonderful place to record, absolutely fabulous place to record. And, Loic, our producer and engineer, was, he's a great guy. He got back to us, and he was saying there's obviously restrictions with regards to, social distancing.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was weirdly productive. What I mean by that is we normally would all go in, we'd all sit around together, we'd all listen to our all parts, we'd all, start putting our 10 pence worth in about who's doing what and what, do I like that guitar line? Ooh, whatever. But what we did this time was everybody was prepared before they went in, and we all went in one at a time. So everybody went in one at a time and recorded their parts. So a lot of them, we did like a buddy system, because someone waited in the, in the green room sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then we'd, sort of socially distance, like tag and go in, and so it was the most productive work I've ever done in the studio, to be honest, because, we normally you'd spend ages messing around, or you'd start, trying different effects all the time. And we still did some of that, but we also already knew what we wanted to do. So we'd already done quite a lot of pre-production, individually and as a group. And so we were quite prepared when we went in, but it was quite a strange thing to do. Like as in when you're used to doing it as a group or anything like that, you're all of a sudden on your own, and are the guys going to like this? So I think it kind of spawned you on to do, the sort of best you could, because there was no going back basically. If it was rubbish, you'd have to do it again. But then obviously that costs more money.
Yeah.
So you've kind of got to go, okay, I'm going to do this. The guys will probably like this, and that's how it went. And thankfully, it all seemed, to sort of fit perfectly together. And it and that was a good process, to be honest. It was, as I say, it was quite different, but the rest of it has kind of fallen into place as well. It's, had a lot of time to write as well, and we've already written the album, so we're just waiting to record that now. So the album's written, so we've got a couple of tweaks to do, but the sort of staple of the song and is pretty much done on all of them. So yeah.
Is there any tentative plan? I know the EP's only just come out, but is there any tentative plan for when the album's going to come out?
Well, I'm hoping it'll be mid next year. Hopefully, we'll have a single out well before then.
Yeah.
But we're going to try and get it done hopefully by May. So because we have a distribution deal with a company called Nova, and we have to now. The way things are is we have to, because we made our own record label in the end. Just rather than be with a label, we decided to just do it ourselves. So we made a label, and because we've done this, we managed to secure a distribution deal. And what they do is, in a good way, it keeps us together, to be honest, rather than just not just going, oh, we'll release it whenever. We scheduled it for May next year, so that's when it's penciled in for them. Because otherwise, I think as well, if we didn't have a distribution deal, or pushing it in a direction and somebody going, now come on, you need to do this, you just end up going, oh, I'll release it soon.
Yeah,
fine. It's kind of given us a bit of a kick up the arse, to be honest. So yeah.
Oh well, yeah.
We're planning to go back. Sorry,
I'm looking forward to that already. Then that's more new music.
Well, we're going to start. We're going to start recording it in January, I think. So that's we are going. It's going to be out in May, but we're going back into the studio pretty soon as well. So it's as soon as Christmas is out the way, it's studio for us, to be honest. Because if we can't play live, we might as well focus on the recording.
Yeah. So. And I love the production on the EP as well. It it hits everything that I like. Your vocals are there, nice and clear, powerful. The drum sound, the crunching guitars, the bass, everything is just how I like it. How I like my rock music was all there. It's not muddy, and it's again, the louder you turn it up, the better it sounds. It's one of those EPs, just like really, really crank it up as well. as well.
I'm glad you're enjoying it. That's brilliant. We've put a lot of layers in it as well. There's lots of percussion. That's why Marionette is. If you have that quite loud, you'll be able to hear. We made them quite loud anyway, but you can hear all of the percussion that Matt's put on it. It's just to give it, it's just sort of to thicken the sound, and the same with the guitars. That's why we decided to be a 6-piece, to be honest. we thought, well, we layer guitars in the studio anyway, because we thought, well, what's the point of layering all these guitars when it's going to sound a little bit empty live? So that's why we got Lawler in, because we were just like, well, if you can get someone else in and they can play that guitar, we'll sound the same. So that was the sort of thinking behind the method behind the madness. But Lawler came on tour with us last year because he was Kenny's South African and was unable to do the European leg of the tour. So Lawler stood in for him, and he became he was a workhorse, and he ended up becoming an integral part of the team. So when we came back, we obviously asked him to join the band, but obviously playing guitar because he is a guitarist mainly. So yeah, and it was it's all fitted in perfectly. He plays drop A, so he adds the sort of chunk to the whole thing, where the other two can do a little bit more whittling, as and solos and sort of guitar harmonies. So it's so we sound big live again, like we were talking about before. It's all about live. It's all about how would we sound live with doing this, and it means that we can possibly sound the same, which is for me is good, and it's got a professional tweak to it. Then people will come and see us live, hopefully, and be like, wow, that sounds pretty much the same. I don't want it to sound exactly the same, because you might as well sit at home then. But at least it'll sound big. That's the main thing for me. Big and loud, loud, big, and people can rock out to it. That's what you sort of want, when you go to a live show. So again, even when with the EP and the recordings, we're still thinking about how it's going to come across live. So.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to listen to them live, and and see you guys live again. It'll be great to see and to hear all the new music live as well. You know what it's like when you get a new EP or you get a new album, and you do this when you're a kid. Oh, what's your favourite track off it, and all of this, and there's ones that hit you. It was really hard for me to pick. Oh, which one's my favorite? I mean, Marionette really kicks off. Brilliant first track. It was like, wow, it really hits you in the face. I love that one. I think for me, it's between Marionette and Your Light, which are two quite very different songs as well, aren't they? And which you've got a video for as well.
Yeah, it's one of those things with see, I haven't got a personal favourite, because they're like six of my babies at the minute. To be honest, at the moment I just because it's our first release, I've got I've got a personal sort of attachment to Your Light, though, because obviously I wrote it about my partner, and it's for me, it's about when she's not feeling great, or she's not feeling 100% or whatever. It's I'm there for her, and I've got my own problems, but if she needs me, I'm there at the drop of a hat. Is the sort of the premise behind the song, and it's like it's that's why it's Let Me Be Your Light. It's even on our darkest days, I'm there to to shine the light, to help her through them, and that's what the song's about. And for me, I've got a really big personal connection with that song, so I'd say that could be one of my favourites. But Marionette is quite a funny one. We actually wrote that as an intro song. That's not for the EP when we did it live. We wrote it to be the first song of a set. That's where that came up, and then we came up with that's how we worked on the song. We wrote how, if we were to go to a show again, the whole live thing, what would you do? And that's what we did with Marionette. We made that the sort of the intro song, and that's why we tried it's so big, because we wrote it from the point of view of if you were to go to a show and it went like this. Like that sort of. So.
That's a storming way to kick off the gig with that song. Instantly that's going to get everybody up and going, aren't they? You can't sit still with that playing. No, you got no chance whatsoever. So how's the song? You said you got the songs already for the album as well. So you were just saying about that with Your Light being so personal and drawing on personal stuff. How do you put your songs together because you put all the lyrics together? Do you draw? Is it from here or there? Do you walk around with a little notebook, or what's your way of putting songs together lyrically?
Well, I have quite a few different methods, to be honest. I do have the one where I'll hear a phrase or something like that, and I'll just put it in little notes on my phone, But then, yeah, it's more that a lot of the way we write the songs is I kind of have an idea of a lot of the time, to be honest, it's when someone's really pissed me off. They're like in my on the list. Like, you're on the fucking list. So like so basically, yeah, a lot of the songs are focused on me being a bit pissed off. So it's I just kind of, you know, I look at things. I take a little step back sometimes when I write lyrics. I like to have a meaning and an idea for something, but then I like to, you know, step out of the situation and be like, okay, that's me then. How would I deal with that now? So I write it like in hindsight.
Yeah.
So, and that's why a lot of the songs are, you know, it might not have been how I'm feeling at the time. Do you know what I mean? It's but a lot of them. That's why I like to look at it. I like to reflect on a lot of the songs, and I like that to kind of come across in me when I'm trying to, you know, write the lyrics. But a lot of it is just phrases. Someone will say something cool, and I'll be like, "Oh, I like that," you know, and I'll write it down, and that'll spawn like you know, an idea for a hook or a title. A lot of the music is all, at the moment is written by Tim and Peter, and what happens with that is Tim or Peter will come up with a riff or, you know, some sort of, you know, Peter writes the songs, his songs, and when he writes his part, he writes the whole song. So I'll get a verse and a chorus, you know, the whole thing. What'll happen is he'll send it over to me. I'll say, right, give me a couple of days. I'll lock myself away basically with my headphones on, and I'll listen to that constantly. And then I'll come back. By the time we get to rehearsals and everyone else has heard it, they've already heard my ideas because I'll record it on my computer. I'll send it over back to them, and they'll, you know, we'll get a rough idea of what's going on.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of the way we work's already been digital as well. You know, we always did. Yeah. We did this before lockdown. I haven't written any of those songs, I don't think, sitting in the same room as them. You know, like, you know, when you see the old school way people would be like around the campfire, let's get an acoustic and do this. None of that with this, to be honest. It's all digital. So it's all like, here you go, here's a song. But it doesn't necessarily mean everything that Tim or Peter will send to me, you know, gets to be played, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if I can't sing to it in 10 seconds, you know, like the chorus, I'll get them to send me the choruses first. If I can't sing to it in 10 seconds, they either rewrite it or we don't play it.
Yeah.
Because it's got to be hooky straight away. All of those songs on the EP, I've been able to sing to in 10 seconds.
Wow.
So that's what it is. It's all about the hook.
Yeah.
I think, and same with the stuff on the album. If it's not hooky and doesn't groove, we don't play it. I've on the album, I've ventured into a few topics that I've never ventured into before. So hopefully people will enjoy that.
What were you listening?
Without too many spoilers.
Oh, okay. What were you listening to then, growing up? You know, what were your big bands as you were growing up and you first got into music?
For me, my favorite bands are like all grunge bands, to be honest. I grew up to like Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Mudhoney, Sonic Youth, Nirvana, you know, all the sort of Seattle sound. But one of my ultimate favorite bands is a band called Candlebox. They are absolutely amazing. They got labeled as a Seattle band, but they're not. They're just a rock band. They don't.
Yeah.
You know, they sound, for me, they've got more of a blues influence in the guitars, and Kev Martin's voice is more similar to Robert Plant than it is to you know, Eddie Vedder, and they're one of my favorite bands. And another one that I love is one of my favorite albums of all time. If anyone ever asks me this question, this is what I'll say. It's Purple by Stone Temple Pilots. I think that's one of the most beautifully written albums of all time. It is absolutely amazing. Every single song is amazing. I've never skipped that album ever. You know, like, it's one of those albums I'll always listen front to back since 1994. You know, it's something that I'll listen to it. It's just a stunning piece of work. And it's them there. Scott Weiland is a big influence of mine. He was like a chameleon with his voice as well. And, you know, and Mike Patton's the same sort of thing as well. I take a lot of my influences from them. You know, they think outside the box a lot when they're writing melodies, and, you know, they don't just think, you know, I'm going to do this or this. So I try and think a bit outside the box a little bit or would if someone else came up with this, where would they go? And then just follow the natural melody, or you just try something like avant-garde, to be honest, is the way I prefer to try and write nowadays.
See, I like Candlebox as well. I've got a few Candlebox albums, but regular listeners now, you've got regular listeners really intrigued because they know my taste in music. And with you saying about, all your grunge influences and that. See, I grew up, listening to pop, child of the 60s, pop music, chart music during the 70s, top of the pops, all that kind of stuff. So it was like from the 80s hair metal was me. It was all like Kiss and Scorpions and Judas Priest and Twisted Sister. And then, of course, grunge comes in, kills off all of the latex big hair music that I was listening to. And I railed on grunge music for so long. So then people listening to this are going, well, Dave really likes all, that, and he's always gone against grunge. But then here he is waxing lyrical about attic theory and you. But that's the thing, it's I don't know what it is. You to me again. You're not. Well, you're alternative, sexy groove rock. You're not grunge rock.
Yeah.
That I'm not a fan.
Exactly.
You are your own genre. So I think again, people listening to this that either like or dislike my taste in music, but the fact that they know what I like, and I really love your music as well. I'm sure is going to get a lot of people intrigued and going, I really have to listen to these.
Well, that's the thing as well. Because that's my influence. Then we've got because that's mental. Because well, the influences we have as well. They're my ones, but the other guys listen to all different stuff. Matt's favorite band is Toto, the drummer. Oh, that's his favorite band. He is obsessed with Toto. Absolutely obsessed with Toto. It's like more to the point. It's quite homoerotic how obsessed he is with Toto. It is. It's very odd. Kenny likes all kinds of different stuff. Kenny loves soul, but he also likes a band called Carnival. And then Peter likes Led Zeppelin, but he also likes Alice in Chains. And Tim's got more of a similar taste to me, but then Tim loves Alter Bridge and Tremonti and stuff like that. And it's Matt Lawler loves Metallica. So we've all got different sort of influences. Some of them cross over, but mainly we're all kind of a bit different, and that's one of the reasons why I think our sound is a bit different, because we all just play what, rather than going, our guitars should sound like this. It's the individual will play what their style. Yeah. So I think that's what it is. Thankfully, it all works. It doesn't just sound like an amalgamation of terrible nonsense, but it's one of those things that, I just think the influences, mine definitely is grunge, but it is mental that we don't actually sound grunge, which is good.
Oh, no, you've definitely got your own sound. And, like I've said many times already just on this, I really love it. I'm looking forward to the album as well. And, like I said, I just can't wait to see you guys live, because that's where you, along with a lot of other bands, but you especially, you really excel live, and you can see it when you're all on stage, and it's, I can't believe it was January. It's like, seems like a lifetime ago that you were there. It's incredible. So fingers crossed for next year that you get back on the road, album's out. I have to come back on the show as well. If when the album comes out, let's have another chat, and we'll have a chat about that too, which will be really good.
Absolutely love to. That'll be brilliant. That'll be absolutely brilliant. Yeah, because we have got a live show at the end of 2021 booked in. We're playing on Planet Rockstock. But again, we haven't booked anything for now because we're taking it day by day. Yeah. We don't really want to book any shows at the minute because I don't want to be that band that we book loads of shows, then we have to cancel. Yeah. We book loads of shows, then we have to cancel. I don't want to do that to the fans. I think it's quite unfair, to be honest. I think if we get offered the show and it's maybe May or whatever, fine. But we're holding out at the minute for because we don't want to let people down. I just think it's unfair. People spent that money and time to do that, and we're just constantly no, you'll have to come to the next one. Sorry, it's been stopped again. Yeah. I'd rather, unfortunately, just not do it until it's 100% right. Yeah, we're going to open. Yeah, we're going to do this. Yeah, you sold tickets. Yeah, everyone can come down. I just think it's unfortunately that's not good for the venues, but there is other bands that are obviously prepared to do that. We're kind of a bit like, at the minute, we'll hold fire, hang fire. Yeah. until everything's a bit more sorted. Don't want to let people down, to be honest.
Well, in the meantime, they can all buy The Sign of an Active Mind, your new EP. They can keep playing that, and then New Year comes around, new album on the way. Fingers crossed for the tour, and we can all see you. So I'm sure everybody listening to this, go and listen to Attic Theory. You've heard a song at the beginning of this on the audio show. You're going to hear another song at the end of the audio show too. If you're watching it on YouTube, you're not going to get those. Just go and click and buy it. Listening to the audio show as well. Just click and buy it. You won't be disappointed. So Luke, thank you for your time. And again, looking forward to seeing you. Come back next year. We'll have a full album to talk about then as well. And then hopefully the whole world's going to be a different and better place for us all.
Fingers crossed, but thank you again for having me.
No problem. Thanks, Lou. See you now.